start over? Can we? Hey, welcome to EMIY, Put Your Family First podcast. Welcome. We popping it off today in the studio how you can fulfill your dreams. Now, of course, as in the past, we've been enjoying the different conversations. But today we're going to take it on how you can fulfill your dreams. I'm fulfilling, but I ain't satisfied. I am not satisfied at all, but I am fulfilling. And so, with that being the case, we gonna say what's up. How you doing, Heather?
I am feeling really good today. Thank you for asking.
That's what's up. The Queen is in the building. Yeah. So what's the next move?
Well, actually, the topic for today, as we are wrapping up National Mentoring Month, I thought it would be fitting to end this month and kick off the month of February at the same time, and just kind of introduce a particular quote that is very much a part of the movement, the vibration, the energy of EMI, which is live your greatest dream. And that's one of the Calvin Man quotes. And we're going to build around that conversation just because today has been such an enlightening day and an awakening day. In some of our study today, from early this morning to conversations throughout the day, and how those things become confirmed around the dream that you may have for yourself, the dream that you may have for your family, your friends, or your loved ones. One of the important pieces of having a dream is being able to hold that vision and have others to hold that vision and intention for you. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that just to kick off the conversation. And we're going to talk about three other components of it. The first one is the dream, the vision. And the second one is your dream team. And the third one is the awakening imagination and the education that's required for you to fulfill your dreams.
Shouldn't we awaken the imagination first?
No.
You don't want to awaken your imagination?
Well, I mean, you're going to be awakened at the various stages. So once you have a dream, you're already awake. You're actually not quite awake then, because dreaming is a sleep state. We need imagination as an awake state. So you have to move through that process.
Oh, so dreaming is a sleep state.
Mm-hmm.
Imagination is a awakened state. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
And manifestation is an action state.
It is.
Come on now. Don't stop there. Let's make it happen. Let's do what we do. Before we really get into that, I was asked earlier if I had anything to add to the young man who was beat massively, and earlier, and I always kind of reserve my judgment in a lot of cases. I can be responsive and reactive to these things. One, y'all know how I feel about a father being in any kind of situation, but for me it was just another day at this particular point. Another male was killed, and everybody want to make it more than what it was, which I think devalues any man that has been murdered in our society. So I think that's why I'm gonna reserve my opinion. The second part, before you really get started, is really understanding this concept of wanting your child to get help, but allowing the child to run the show. That's kind of an oxymoron. It's like I'm I'm wanting the child to get help, but don't want to do the things for the child to get help. So the child determines, as they have been, making their own decision. And a lot of times we allow these kids to make decisions they're not even prepared to make. And that's a tough thing. So I just wanted to get that off the table for me. Let's do it.
I mean, we can actually incorporate that into how to fulfill your dreams. So one of the first steps that we need to talk about is having a clear mind, having an open heart to be able to receive it, and then taking the next step to believe that the dream that you have for yourself is even possible. And so I consider this still our sleep state, because in our sleep state, kind of anything is possible. But when you wake up, you make a distinction between that dream and then your awakened state. Like in my dream state, I might be able to fly. But in your awakened state, you may say, oh, well, that's just ridiculous. You can't really fly as a human being. However, if you look at the word itself and what it implies, you can fly, right? You can jump on an airplane, you can skydive, you can air glide. There are lots of ways that you can fly. But if you're limited in your thinking, if you're still believing that things are impossible for you, then they become impossible. And to acknowledge that things are impossible to you is to be asleep. It is to not consciously recognize that the possibilities are endless. And so as we look at our dreams and how the dream becomes the vision, there are components of those things that we dream about and daydream, or the things that we want to believe that we can do. And it could be as simple as, when you were a little kid, you dreamed about being a fireman when you grew up. And somewhere along the line, someone told you or convinced you that it wasn't possible for you to be a fireman, or that there were obstacles put in your way that you believe prevented you from becoming one. And so I believe that in our sleeping state, and that state that we don't believe that things are possible, we can allow obstacles then to stand before us and deter us or turn us back or away from what we believe that is really for us or that we desire. And I think that's part of the thinking that takes you away from being able to move from a dream to a vision. And it's possible to do that. And I say that sometimes you have to have a dream team to do it. So you have thoughts on dream to vision?
So more importantly, I think having a dream is such an important epiphany. Having a dream is you see a problem and you want to fix it. Having a dream is poverty. Having a dream is when they said Martin Luther King had a dream. We talk about the things that you can see in a dream. Now, how do you manifest that dream, right? And for me, dreaming, as you say, is a sleep state, but you very well could be daydreaming. And in that process, right, a lot of things happen to you. And as we were discussing earlier, when you are going and you decide and you lock in on your dream, the one thing that you got to be concerned about is all the good that comes to you to distract you from your dreams. You can handle the obstacles. You can handle the course, the toughness, right? But all that good come to you, you got to be able to handle that as well. So I feel you most definitely on the dream and getting the vision, because, man, you're talking about painting a vision. I got this from the mud, right? And so I've been talking, encourage me, I'm young, for years, right? And it's manifesting in a way that it became what it is. And so now we, our team and the people and the volunteers and the donors and the people that see that assisted back to my speech last Friday, the ingredients counts.
All ingredients counts.
All ingredients counts.
And so I think that when you look at this through the lens of this being drawing to the end of National Mentoring Month, when you keep that as a backdrop, it implies that somebody has to be there to show you or guide you or hold that intention for you and of you. It's important that you start to build and fulfill the dreams as they become a vision and to help that transition along. So how to fulfill the dream? The first thing you have to do is help it to become a vision. So move it from the subconscious mind or the sleeping state into your reality, which then is creating your vision. And so our vision is kind of the plan for how you can actually see something. And so there's some other components in that, right? And able to see yourself as a particular being or in a particular situation or doing a particular thing. There's some creativity that has to take place. But in order to make that happen, that vision, one of the first steps of manifesting is to write the vision. Write it down. And so if you're not making affirmations, if you're not seeing those words, if you're not eating those words, embracing those words, thinking those words, if you're not keeping those words in front of you, you're still in the dream state. You're not quite awakening into it becoming a vision. So we want to secure the dream by it evolving into a vision for your life. That vision starts with what you write. And it can start with, I am a firefighter. I am a happily married woman. I am innovative. I am a best-selling author. And as you notice, I am using I am statements, which is even more powerful when you recognize who I am really is. But that's a whole nother show. We'll have to talk about that one at another time. But just to use the tools that we've been given, we need affirmations as a part of that tool to make that vision reality. We need those words. And then as we take those words in, we also have to be sharing those words with those people who you trust, those people who will pour into your vision, those people who will hold the intention for you, for your vision. So I'll give you an example. When you're a child and you want to be that firefighter, and your parents or your grandparents get you a firefighter's hat. They get you the little fire truck to drive around because they know that you want to be a firefighter. They take you to the fire department to meet the firefighters. They invest in you and your dream becoming that vision. So they're helping that vision, that dream to become that vision for you as a child. They're holding the intention for you, giving you tools and resources to help affirm that in you. Because if you can see yourself in the little fire truck, in the little fire hat, talking to a firefighter, taking a picture, those are the types of things that help to build a dream. That is part of your dream team. That is now how we move that vision and start to develop our dream team. Typically, our dream team starts with our family. It starts with our teachers. It starts with the people who care about us, who believe in us, right? That's how we start to develop our dream team.
Dream team is in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, dream team is in the house. Yeah, you got to have a team. You can, the individual mindset starts out, you have a vision individually, you come up and you build this thing out, you put it on paper, and then you got to have a team. You got to find people that, and believe, right? And depending on the position, nonprofit is different from for-profit, right? A lot of people will run from nonprofit. A lot of people run to for-profit. But in the process, it's having a decent team or better, and it's always evolving. The team is always evolving, and the people have to believe in the dream. And those are the hallmarks for, manifestation coming together. We're getting ready to start a new ritual we'll talk about later on for our office to improve, how we can take and draw and bring everything really to us, right? And so we're going to add this to our office. It'll always be part of what we do going forward as we're building, because we're moving levels. And so when you're moving levels, you have to prepare yourself for devils. And in that process, you got to also prepare yourself to you not being your own devil. And so the dream team concept is important, but no, the team that you might start out with might not be the team that you finish with.
Absolutely.
And so you got to be able to, really move, shake, because people will show and be who they are, and that's how you get to another level, because you got to bring in people to say, hey, that's not how it goes. So the dream team piece is important to your dream, because that's the way it's going to move. No business, no person, no relationship, no championship. Nothing is ran by yourself. And we had this tendency to think that I'm this individual and I do this. No, believe me, this is not done. As a matter of fact, I can give you a list. I can start from the dentist to friends to neighbors to classmates. I'm here to tell you, encourage me, I'm young, is not just Calvin Mann. There are multiple people contributing to keep us where we, keep us and moving us and helping us get to where we got to go. And appreciation for them is, I wish I had the money to throw the biggest party for them, right? But that's knowing that our team of people has made sure that we got this far. And they're constantly pouring in. And so our team is very vast, is big. We don't have a small team, and so I'm just grateful and appreciative of those very things, and that's what we have to do. We have to be grateful to a team. If you micromanage anything, you will lose it.
Well, since we were talking about our team right now, I want to make sure that we thank our engineer, Monique, in the studio with us, who's navigating this show to make sure it's gone and that we can deliver this message. So thank you, Monique, too, as part of the team. So I do want to also talk about a few components of the team. When I mentioned that your team, members of your team have to be able to hold the vision for you. So sometimes what that means is when you start to doubt or you start to falter or you start to become your own obstacle, you need to have somebody that can pull you back to the center, that can say, no, this is what you said, this is what you wrote, this is why you did what you did, and I believe that you're the right person to do this.
That's right.
I believe that you're going to be the best firefighter that exists. I believe that you can do this. I believe that you were groomed to lead in this way. You were groomed to offer this level of protection to our families.
Come on now.
I think that's important. And so some of the other ways that people can hold the vision, like you were when you were a little kid, they bought you the little fire cap, right? They bought you the little fire truck, right? They turned the fire hose, the fire hydrant on for you in the summertime. These are people who are holding a vision for you.
Preach.
So recognizing who your team is important. And at recognizing how that team exists is important. So as a teacher, maybe your teacher had you do research on a career that you were interested in, and at the end of the paper that you wrote or the presentation that you delivered about it, gave you that extra feedback and said, you know what, for career day, we're going to bring in a firefighter because that's somebody that this is a career that you have an interest in. They're holding the vision for you. They're adding to your vision. And remember that people who are holding the vision for you are not only pushing you toward that vision, providing you tools and resources for that vision, but also in those times where you are faltering or doubting, they're the ones that uplift you in that vision.
Right.
They give you the words of encouragement to keep going, to push forward.
You ain't got time for that. I can't tell you how many times I heard that one.
And don't give up. They'll tell you, don't give up.
You ain't got time for that.
Or do this, or step back. Just take a breath, but don't quit. Your team won't let you quit. That's an important component or characteristic of a team member. You find these types of qualities in mentors. You find these types of qualities in
a wife
and a coach. Yes. You find those things in your mates. You find those things in your friends. It's one of the characteristics of recognizing that this is a team. Absolutely a husband. I consider that a mate too.
No question.
Parents. You find that in parents too.
That's right.
And so you have to be mindful of where all of those reinforcements are coming from to be part of your team. Maybe somebody's part of your team. You go to the store and a particular thing that you need, they make sure you have it. They become a part of your team, an external part of your team. And once you're on that pathway, giving attention to how the affirmations, how the confirmations, how the information is flowing for you is really important. So as we move into this next phase of how to fulfill your dream, we're talking about the awakened mind, so conscious and aware that this is really what you want to do. This is how you're going to invest your time. This is where you're going to invest your energy. All of those things are important. How you're going to use your currency and your resources. So currency is not just money. Currency is all the things that keep you moving in the right direction, that keep you flowing, keep you in your flow. Those things are important. So the resources also that it's going to take. Sometimes it may take a scholarship. Sometimes it may take a loan. Sometimes it may take a grant. Sometimes it may take a hand up instead of a handout. Sometimes it may take taking a step back, only to take 2 steps forward. Those things come when you're in the awakened state. There is an expectation that things are going to come, people are going to go, but the expectation is that you're going to continue to flow. You're going to continue to stay in the current of the vision because you've already decided what you want and that this is the thing that's going to manifest. And so with your belief, your confirmation, your thought, word, and deed, your investment of time and effort can manifest that very thing that you want to see happen in your life. So that dream, that dream that is now your vision, now is in a different state where you're awakened and you're committed. You're committed to this next course. You're committed to this vision. And now it's time to use some imagination because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take your imagination to be able to see the end result, to see what you wanted to see and hold that idea. So how can you see yourself as a firefighter? Do you see yourself as a firefighter? Do you see the hat on your head? Do you hear the horn blow? Do you see yourself being able to support your community in this way to keep it safe? These are really important things to be able to visualize. And visualization starts from imagination.
Well, yeah, but you said you were awakened. Mm-hmm. And then you said you had the imagination. What are the triggers for your imagination? So imagination, because a lot of people stare out the window and imagine a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Your subconscious is full of filth. Mm-hmm. It records it. It brings it in. So as you're trying to be creative and pull from your imagination will likely give you everything that you've been processing. So now you can't really think. It's just that your imagination is interrupting your whole process. You know what? Boy, look at that. All right, ooh. And then here comes those things that really, oh man, that was sweet. Or not being able to complete a sentence. How many times has it been said where you get distracted? you're not even been able to complete a sentence. The thing that I learned that was very impactful is it's not necessarily that your mind, that you drift when you drift off or when you're distracted. It is because of the way you were raised that you had these moments where you're not even present. This occurs to you a lot earlier than you even know. So cognitively, you're not even present.
And you're talking about what happened in your past, in your meridian path, versus
All of
what
that
happens
because once you wake up, so I woke up to my dream. And now waking up to my dream, there are things on the path that I did had nothing to do with my dream that's going to interrupt my awakeness. And it'll jump. It'll jump from here, it'll jump from there, it'll jump from here, right? So it'll jump. Your imagination comes in where you are imagining the things that you want to fulfill, the dreams that you want to take, but your subconscious is punching away at you, which comes back to why you have to do so much good to overcompensate for that lower mindset that you fed a whole lot of bad.
So give an example.
So what I mean by that is I had this vision about, just particularly about a reading contest, right? Mm-hmm. So in the process, every time I think about that, in the back of my mind for that process is another voice saying, why would you do that? Right now is not the time. You need to make sure you this, you got that. All I was saying was, I wasn't acting on it. I was awakened to it. It's in my imagination, but that constant where I can build it out is interrupted by my foolishness that I did long before. I could be most definitely focused. I can focus in. But here comes the foolishness to knock me off that line.
So let me say this then.
And so hold on, let me finish. Okay. And so you have to educate your lower self, right, to smother out the lower self's negativity while you are being awakened and have the imagination, because you can have the imagination for your dream, the whole nine, and it's manifesting, and your lower self is not doused in good. Right? And so that cause, right, you need to educate your lower self on all the good. My man said, speak, what they say, speak as though you already have it, but you have to do that so much because you've spoken so much doubt, and your lower self will interrupt your higher self. So you got to educate that lower self so your awakeness and your imagination can flow. Right? Because without that, you're going to have those interruptions, and you got to learn how to control lower self. But that's my 2 cents on being awakened, making sure that you are awakened and cover your lower self, because your lower self is going to take shots and is undefeated. And I don't care who you are, your lower self is going to take shots unless you cover it and educate your lower self.
And I mean, of course, I agree with that. But we're trying to keep understand that there's a process that happens. The first thing is moving from a dream to a vision, right?
Right.
That's the first part. So if you had that, and the things that you have to do to shift from the dream to the vision, which is writing that down, having affirmations, keeping those things in front of you. And the assumption that I'm making is that vision, that dream that becomes a vision, is something that's going to bring good into the world and to you. That's the idea that I have. Okay. Right. So this is the premise that I'm basing all of this on. Because by the time that vision then gets into the hands or the state of your team, they're holding that vision for you. So now it's not just you holding that vision and that idea. They're also holding you accountable for that vision and that idea. They're investing in you. So now, even as you are learning and growing out of certain habits and behaviors that may no longer serve you, you have this team of people holding you accountable and holding that good thing that you have a vision for to standard. And sometimes when you're falling, people need to hold you up. And so you need that team. That's why that team is so important. That also becomes your check and balance system. They're holding you. They're checking you. What are you doing? Your mentor is saying, what are you doing? What are you doing with this crowd of people? They don't serve the purpose that you're trying, or the vision that you're trying to have for your life. They're holding you accountable for who's around you. They're holding you accountable to your challenges and to your obstacles. And so that's an important piece to have. That's why it has to be in place. That's why you have a team to help you to build and grow and win that part of the consciousness that you need to have the good overcome the lower self that you spoke of. And indeed, there is an education process, especially when you get to this level. When you get to the point where you have people holding you accountable, where there's something that you want to learn, to become a firefighter, you have to take a test. You have to pass a physical test. You have to pass the health test. There's some things that they do in terms of background check. There are all of these things that you have to be educated on, right? You have to learn how to become a firefighter. You have to go through the training to become a firefighter. That is part of the education process. You have to understand the risk that is involved in that. It may seem very glamorous as a 4-year-old wanting to be a firefighter, or a 12-year-old wanting to be a firefighter. But when you start to understand the reality, educate yourself on the reality and the risk involved, is that still the dream or the vision that you now have? And so, again, there are people that are holding you accountable. At that point, you start to have other people around you who are firefighters, who understand the risk, that can help you with some of the things that you need to overcome, some of the lessons that you need to learn, some of the lifestyle choices that you might not want to be a smoker as a firefighter, knowing that so many homes have been devastated because of people who smoke. Maybe that's the lesson that you needed to learn. But only someone who's experienced can expose you to that and help you to re-educate yourself even from some of the vices that we even have. So I think that process puts those systems already in place to help support you to fulfill that dream.
Yeah, but I get it. And because of that, again, I'm very, very excited about the outcomes, right? What is the outcome of your dream? What does your dream being successful look like, right? Some people say, man, if you help one person, you didn't help the world. I ain't like that one, right? Helping one person, you can walk out the door and help somebody. You can help one person. Now, if you can't help one person, then you got a problem in itself, right? Right, but the other part is after you go through all of that, once you fulfill your dream, you got to have some real toughness.
Mental toughness.
Mental toughness.
Okay.
You got to have some real mental toughness to fulfill and to continue.
To survive the dream.
Yeah, because
survive the vision.
Right, because what are you really doing, right? Okay, and now that I got it, like we were talking about earlier, I heard you and Latrice talking earlier. Yeah, now that I have this, what do I do? Oh, I got anxiety. You know what I mean? I got these issues that I discovered once I got what I wanted. This is where I set my limitation. And to me, that's a limitation thinking. Like, if you start a business to sell, then say from the word go, you started a business to sell. But if you find yourself drowned in purpose, finding yourself to go for purpose, and you run into somebody like me, yeah, well, that situation is in trouble. So, and I say all that because you got to have the mental toughness to endure. I got my dream. Now I got to endure 10, 12, 5, 2, 3, 12, 15, 18, 19 years. I got to be able to be consistent right? Because awaken and imagination and education and dream team and dream vision, all of that, I had no choice but to be consistent. And that was a strength. And now I'm learning so much more, even just about myself. So I think we have to understand that you got to have a certain amount of toughness, mental
beyond
toughness,
the dream.
fortitude beyond the dream, because that's how you get it. You can run right into your dream tomorrow, but you got to have some fortitude to handle it, right? And then if you looking to pass it on to somebody, who are you starting this pass on with first? All of those things play a part.
Absolutely.
All of those things. So for me, these are great points, right? And in between, we should put toughness between each one, right? Because in order for you to get where you're going, you're going to need some of this.
Resilience, absolutely. Resilience is an important key. The mental toughness, absolutely. And then just holding yourself accountable.
Ooh.
There is a definite pattern between what we hold ourselves accountable for and how we get to what we see as our next destination. What's the next destination? And do you have what it takes to bounce back when you run into those obstacles, or you have to climb over those walls, or you have to dig under them or knock them down completely? What's in your path of that vision and that dream being fulfilled? What's in the pathway? So it does take all of those things, and then what do you endure as you are reaching that space? Those things are really important.
Hey, you had me at hello. Because you know this, right? A lot of people, we jump out. And this is not a, being in business and working towards something, it's not an easy task. It's not. But I tell you what, it's fulfilling. And if you can get up every day, right? Because that's what we talked about, how to fulfill a dream. If you can fulfill every day, morning, doing the things that you need to do,
or love to do, and want to do,
and want to do, and you got that formula, like, you winning. So that's why I was like, what does your success really look like, right? Your success could really mean you're just consistent. Your success can mean you are being paid for it. Your success can mean, I don't want to be the American way, I'm going to move to another country. Like, your success is in a number of places. And with that, I most definitely, I love the fact seek answers, right? I love that, right? Because you don't know everything. And so when you seek an answer, you got to put yourself in a position to listen so you can learn something new.
And I do want to just make sure I put this out there. You can have a number and should have a number of these dreams. It still follows the same process. So say the primary one we were talking about is a career pathway. How about that relationship? How about that healthy marriage? How about having a family? How about having and building wealth? How about that vacation, that place that you've always wanted to see, that thing that you always wanted to do? It's the same process. If you use the formula that we just talked about, you can apply it across different types of vision and dreams for your life. You can do that for a particular car. You want a particular car. And we all have these stories, right, that we have of ourselves or people that we know. I have one of my brothers, I say that he has mad crazy favor. And I say that because there are things that have happened in his life. And this is funny because he was awarded one of the dreamers that I believe it was, I think it was Mike Illich that sponsored its elementary school class. And he committed to making sure that all of them that wanted to go to college or wanted to go to trade school, that he would pay for their education. And so they formed an organization around this commitment to help those kids from elementary school all the way up through high school and college navigate their journey. Now imagine that. Imagine how rare that is as an act. And the fact that they called it the Dreamers, right? They were called the Dreamers. And my brother happened to be in the class where they extended that to them. And so he was able, he was going through elementary, middle, and high school already knowing that he had a full college education or whatever type of training he wanted to go through. The thought of that is amazing to me. That to me is mad crazy favor, because I want to say, I don't think it was more than maybe 50 or 60 kids that they made that promise to. Mm. That's that's like hitting the lottery, right? To have established in elementary school your journey and somebody to help be part of that team that helps you navigate that. That's amazing to me. And so he's had things in his life that happened to me that are mad crazy favor. When he was younger, I mean, some tragic things happened too that put him on the other side of through. But he was always just a fraction away from a devastating event. But because he had that mad crazy favor, he was able to navigate life in a way that helped to fulfill him, one. And anything that he put his mind to from that point, he has always manifested it. If he says he wants to go to Aruba for a week, he said he wanted to swim with the dolphins and swim with the sharks or something. I think it was swim with the dolphins. So he set that in his mind. He said he wanted an alligator. He set his mind to getting an alligator. He got an alligator. I mean, they may seem like small things until you see them manifest. Mm. And what he had gone through and who supported him, who held the vision, who believed in him, who believed in what he said he wanted to do. He had people in his life that believed in him. That when he got to a particular point and he needed somebody else's help, he got that help. It was already there for him. And so with this mad crazy favor, that those kinds of opportunities have happened for him throughout his life. It was a particular car that he wanted, that he had seen. It wasn't a very popular car in the U.S., but he set his mind to having this car. He said, I'm going to have that car. And guess what? He actually manifested that car. And so there are people who are like that. It seems to come to them, I'm going to say with ease, not easy, but with more ease than others. Mm. And sometimes we do have more ease than others. But it doesn't make it less valuable. It doesn't make it less important. And it doesn't make the formula less valuable. So what it should awaken in you is, if this person did it, then I can do it. Mm. If you can do it, then I can do it. It may not happen the same way and it may not be the same thing, but when you look at it and you frame it that way, that becomes your inspiration. That is your use of imagination, and going through the process of making it happen, knowing that you have a formula to do it, it's even better.
So great. I get it. So let's give them 2 steps that they can take. Right? Give them 2 steps that they can take. Start with number 1. What step can a person take that's listening right now to begin to manifest their vision? I know you said some things already, but give them 2 concrete, plain and simple lessons and steps that they can take, and then I'll come behind you and add.
Okay. So the first thing is, what do you want? What do you want in your life? What do you want to see? What do you want to be a part of? So you look at America's Got Talent, right? You look at, what do you want? I want to show the world my talent. I want to be appreciated and loved, and I want to have this big record contract because I love to sing. whatever it is that you want to do, you have to start there. It starts with knowing what you want. And then how you shift that desire of want to a vision is the first step in doing that is to write it down. If you're serious about what you want, write it down. And I'm not talking about acting over somebody else's will. Somebody you want to have a relationship with rejected you, and you still want them, and they don't want you in the same way. That is impacting somebody else's will with your own. Okay, that is not a healthy activity. Now, it's different to want to have somebody who has the same qualities or make you feel a certain way. But when you say it has to be this person, like it has to be The Rock, that is my husband. Well, he's already married. He's already taken. So if you want certain qualities, then you ask for the qualities, and then you can write those things down. I definitely know how that works. So write it down. So know what you want. And I'm talking about when it comes to people or mates and things like that, you cannot impose your will against somebody else's or on someone else's will. So that's the thing. So you have to make sure that your vision aligns with more spiritual principles, if you will. But you cannot impose your will on somebody else's. You can't say, I want somebody else's house, car, husband, wife, kid. That's imposing your will on someone else. What you can say is, I want a healthy family. I want to have a house and a car and a family. You can vision for that, but not to say that you have to have somebody else's something. That's crossing the line, and that's a level of karma that you do not want to carry. So the first step is know what you want. Then once you are sure that this is what you want, because you're going to have to invest in it, make sure this is what you want, then write it down. Write the vision, make it plain. Then you start to bring in your team to help support you. Somebody or people who you know will hold that vision for you. Very important piece. Because not only are they going to hold the vision for you, they're going to hold you accountable. And so they're not going to let you deviate from that. In that you talked about the things that we can do in our lower self where we get off track without somebody saying something to you. That's your team. So making sure you have a good and strong team on your side to help manifest whatever that is for you, to hold that vision as you're going through the process, and then being able to use your affirmations and the confirmations to help you to make sure that you can make that come to pass. So those would be the first two things you have to do.
3.
The third thing you need to do is now start to build on it. Calvin called it education. So I call it imagination as well. So what do you see? So start to look at colors of things, start to bring details to the surface. Like we talked about the firefighter example, but now let's talk about it as a mate, because there are people who want to be in healthy relationships. So now what are you doing to be healthy? What are you doing for yourself to be healthy? You want to be able to travel with your mate. What are you doing to be able to travel with your mate? Do you have a passport? Do you have a credit card? Because all the travel now, the hotels, the rental car, all of that, you have to have a credit card. So in order to get a credit card, is your credit appropriate for credit card use? Are you able to balance your spending? Those kinds of things. Now those are the details. So that third part, once we get to imagination, you have to be able to see yourself there. But also, what are the actions to help you stay there, to help you enjoy the benefit of having that vision or that dream fulfilled? So that's the third stage.
So my 2 cents, right? Mm-hmm. Besides putting it on paper, you got to cover it. And you got to cover that work with knowing, right, that you have to bury yourself inside that dream and that vision. And you have to become it in order for it to happen, right? So it has to be something that literally can be consumed by you, but you manifest it outside of you, right? So believing so entrenched in yourself that when you speak it, you're manifesting it from the inside out. It's very difficult, right? When you see all the people accumulate and get their dreams, get their dreams, and it's always something beautiful, right? They've gone through. It's been some incredible stories. I always think about Lord and Taylor. A lot of people don't know the story about Lord and Taylor, how he made a promise to God that if he helped him get the sword, that's what he would name it. And that's why his last name was Taylor, so he named it Lord and Taylor, right? A lot of people didn't know the story behind Lord and Taylor, right? And the principle and how he manifested that, right? It was that entrenched. A lot of people don't know how encouraged me. I mean, young people say all the time to me, I remember when you first started this. No, but you don't break their heart when they say it. But, like, man, I remember when you first started this. Well, you known me a long time, right? Because this been a carry. It's been, tough, but it's something that I truly believed in, that has truly manifested itself in the lives of thousands. And so now, what do you do to take it to, the next level? You intrinsically got to believe that this is the destiny for this vision and this dream. Heather, tell them where they can meet you at, baby.
You can find me at www.yourinspiredjourney.com. That's inspired with a D. You can also reach out to me by phone at 313-759-7855. Again, that's 313-759-7855.
All right. Well, again, great points, great show. I have to say that today was a good day for those of you who don't know. And tomorrow, Channel 7 will be in the parking lot to talk about the mobile mentoring bus. The fact that it is a person out there or someone out there, the people that out there that's going to continue to assist in manifesting EMIY. It is such a great thing to wake up to every day knowing that I'm in a championship bout for these babies. And I thank you. And with that, I have to tell you, going forward, this is the Put Your Family First podcast. And we will continue to put families first in the information going forward, and look for some new things from us. And that's my 2 cents. If you got anything you'd like to add before we shut it out?
I sure do. So we are still in the middle of our recruitment for our EMIY Future Leaders program and our EMIY Elite program. Our mentoring programs, our 14-week program, is for boys starting at age 8 to age 24. It is important that everyone have a mentor. It doesn't matter how old or young, but it does matter for our boys right now that it's very intentional. What are you doing with your time, and who's guiding that time? We need to make sure that our boys are taken care of. Get them in our mentoring program. We have 2 more weeks to recruit boys in. It's important that our boys, if they're having more and more of a sedentary lifestyle, meaning they're sitting around a lot, it's impacting their growth, their ability to produce the level of testosterone that they need to help them, encourage them in the things they need to do as young men and into manhood. So if you have those 18 to 24-year-olds who are couch potatoes, who are weed smoking, game playing, homebound young men, they need alternatives. And so Calvin mentioned earlier about us allowing kids to make decisions, to make adult decisions. We need for our parents to make the types of decisions, even though there may be some pushback, because they're taken away from the things that they have been given that are common for them. They need to take this next step forward. Let them know this is for them to move forward, and stay on them. Don't let them quit. You know how to negotiate as a parent if that's what you have to do. Get them involved. We are losing too many of our boys to violence. We're losing too many of our boys in their identity. We're losing too many of our boys to things that they have no that have no value or serve them no more purpose. It's time for our boys to take their rightful place, and it's time for our parents, especially our moms and our grandmothers, to take a stand, put them in places where they have positive men to identify with, and they have positive activities to be involved with to help them guide and navigate these important waters that we're in right now. So again, reach out to us at EMI. You can give us a call. Visit our website first at EMIWorld.com. You can reach us at 313-638-EMI, EMIY. So reach out to us. Let's go. We can't intervene, and that's what we're here to do.
All right. Well, you heard it. Y'all have an awesome, awesome day. Remember, make sure you put your family first. We got to change the culture, baby. Peace.